Croeso I sianel Blaid Llwyd. Welcome back to Lyre. Yes, we're back here again. And if you remember last time, Ifor just left the ball. So, without too much introduction, let's see what happens next. I may be slightly drunk, but it's nothing compared to how drunk I feel from telling everyone off like that. The power fades though as everything settles in. I can't believe this. Is there a problem with interspecies relationships in Lyre? Now that I really think about it, I've never seen one here before. I look back on all the times I've seen a couple and I realise they've all been the same species. I guess I never really questioned it because it didn't stand out much. Why though? Why is it such a problem? Happens all the time in Erin. I've had my fair share of experiences with several different species. I know so many people who are with different species. Some of them are even married. They can't have kids, but that's not what it's about. I walk through the halls and run my hand along the wall. Anytime I come across a picture frame, I trace the bottom of the frame with my fingers. I think back to the look on Lyall's face when we had stopped dancing. Think about how he looked that whole time. Every facial expression blends into one. Confliction. That must have put him in a pretty uncomfortable position being so forward like that. Think about the way he looked so nervous and scared. All this time I thought he was just shy. My pace slows and I feel my eyes start to water. Fuck all of them. That was so embarrassing. I never wanted to see another noble's face again. With their stuck-up attitudes and pride. I was going to do my job and focus on what matters. Ifor! I hear Lyall call my name down the halls. It echoes across the walls of the corridor. His voice gives me the sense he's worried. I really don't want to be seen like this right now. Can't even remember the last time I cried. I run further down the hall and reach a dead end. There's a door off to my left I recognise. This is the tunnel that leads to the village. Ifor, I know you said you wanted to talk about it later, but... Please, I'm really sorry. I run into the tunnel and quietly close the door behind me. It's extremely dark in here. I'm not even able to see silhouettes. Not to mention, since it's night, I can't even see the light up ahead. I feel my way around and find the wall of the tunnel. It's really cold. After steadying myself, I start to move forward, touching the wall and being careful not to trip. The noise of water drops hitting the floor is almost therapeutic. I step into a puddle of water and for a moment I think that I can see light. To test it, I take a step again and notice the water starting to glow. What the hell? I bend down and touch the water with my bare fingers. It's warm. Little swirls of glowing water show and light the area around me. What the hell is going on here? I've heard of water doing this before. Isn't that in the ocean? What's it doing down here? I take another step and use the light to guide my way through the tunnel. This only works for a few feet though, because the puddle is only so big. I steady myself on the wall again and work my way toward the exit. Judging by how long it's been, I should be getting close. Don't even know why I'm still walking anymore. I've stopped crying and I really want to go back inside. The air in here is freezing, and if I remember correctly, the trapdoor at the end is locked. I'm too far into my head now, so I just keep going. I'm completely sure if I somehow get lost, Lyall will sniff me out. He's already hot on my trail after I'd left the party. Suddenly I trip over a dip in the terrain and fall onto a set of wooden steps. I manage to catch myself with my hands, and aside from the initial shock, I'm not hurt. I look up and I can see the faintest light breaking through the crack in the trapdoor. Climbing the steps slowly, I reach up and press my hand to the bottom of the door. Wood is cold and dusty. It opens. Did Lyall forget to lock it? No, I swear I remember him locking this. He wouldn't forget. Dust falls off the door as I lift it up. First thing I see is snow falling gracefully from the night sky. It's much warmer up here. Everyone's candles and torches are lit, so I assume they're inside of their homes. There are a few people walking down the streets. The village square isn't nearly as crowded as it was 2 days ago. I look up and see the lanterns burning with vitality fire. The air around them is almost completely devoid of snow. As it falls from the sky and hits the ground, the snowflakes dissipate and melt onto the cobblestone. I find a warm spot in the alley and sit down. I bring my knees up to my chin and wrap my arms around my legs. The lower half of my face is buried in my scarf, but I can still see snowflakes fall into the black sleeves of my suit and melt. At this point, I don't really have any thoughts. I just feel like falling asleep here. I'm also waiting for that trapdoor to open any moment and for Lyall to come crawling through. I regret leaving him at the party. This whole situation just makes me feel so stupid. I don't know what's right or wrong anymore. I feel like I'm at fault, but I also wish someone would have warned me. I don't know. I feel so stupid right now. Everyone's always telling me how clever I am, but sometimes I feel like it's on accident. Sitting on the ground for a few more minutes, I hear distant mumbling. It's a low and quiet voice that sounds sad. It's coming from the fountain. I shuffle close to the corner of the building I'm leaning against and lean around it. It's Adrius. What the hell is he doing here? Is that why the door was unlocked? He's sitting at the fountain looking up at the statue of his mother. I can see him mumbling to himself, rubbing the rim of the fountain with his ungloved hand. The water around the fountain is glowing a bright blue. I'm starting to think that the spring water has some sort of luminescent quality to it. I watch him continue to talk to the statue, almost as if it was actually her. It reminds me of when people pray to their gods. How they sit down at an altar and talk to it as if it's some sort of vessel they can use to communicate with the being. This is different though. This isn't his god though. It's his mother. I look for a bit longer before I realise I probably shouldn't have seen this. Especially lurking in an alley. I hear the trapdoor open at the end of the alley and turn to see Lyall poke his head out of the entrance. He has a blanket in his arm. There you are. He closes the door softly and walks up to me. Are you okay? No, not really. I'll be fine though. Are you going to be okay? Yes. After you left, I didn't want to be there. Everyone kept looking at me and a few people actually questioned me about it. I'm sorry for leaving you there. I just really didn't want to be around anyone after that. I don't know how to feel, but everything just seems so confusing. I really do like you, though. I see a small glimmer of a smile on his face. Ifor, it's fine. I know. He takes the blanket and wraps it around my shoulders. Let's go back to the castle. Even with the vitality lanterns, it's too cold out here. Okay. He leads me to the tunnel. I look back towards the direction of the fountain. Adrius is probably still sitting there. Something wrong? No. I just have a lot on my mind. He opens the door to the tunnel and leads me down the stairs. Yes, me too. He lowers the door and it closes with a resounding thud. I can hear him locking the door, and then a few seconds later, he gently takes my hand in his paw. After leaving the tunnel, we walked down the corridors for a bit. What is it? We're going to have to pass by the ballroom to get back to my room, right? Yes. We could... What? Well, we could go to my bedchambers for a bit. It's not far from here, we won't run into anyone. Sure. But only if you want to. That sounds nice. I have a really nice fireplace in my room, too. The servants are probably already lit it, so it should be nice and warm. So if you're okay with it, it's this way. Lyall? Yes? I said it was fine. Oh, yes. Sorry, I get carried away sometimes. Hey, it's fine. I'm not bothered by it. He takes my hand and leads me down a hallway I think I've been down before. Can't believe I haven't seen his room yet. That should be a good place to talk about what's happened. We arrive at the door and he fumbles with his keys. I'm sorry. He finds the right key and unlocks the door. Warm air rushes into my face. He holds the door open for me. Oh, wow. My senses immediately get overrun by the colour red. He steps past me as I stand by the doorway and walks over to his bedside table. Lots of red. Oh, yes. I love red. It's my favourite colour. Really? Of course. I like it because it's warm and vibrant. It's also just nice to look at. I watch him fumble with some things on his dresser and take this moment to look around. The fireplace is really nice. I can feel the warmth of the fire wrapping around my legs. Above the mantel is a big painting. It's a dynamic portrait of a wolf warrior shrouded in a hood. He looks a bit like Lyall, but his fur is more of a reddish colour. Sparks fly up around his figure and the painting almost looks menacing. I turn my gaze down and notice the brush sitting on the mantel. There's a few long hairs sticking out of it. I guess this is what Lyall uses to tame that mane of his. I put down the brush and explore the other side of the room. Lyall seems pretty occupied right now. I see him throwing a bunch of stuff into a drawer. I didn't notice until I got closer, but his bed is massive. It's probably a normal size for him, but to me it's huge. So is everything. The fact it's a canopy bed doesn't help. Pretty sure this room and everything in it was built for larger animals. I look over to Lyall and see what's behind him. Are those your drawings? Yeah. They're just sketches, though. Nothing really great to look at. I lean around and take a look at some of the drawings. Oh, wow. Lyall, these are really good. Thanks. He steps to the side and I walk up to the wall where his drawings are. Each one is an intricate sketch. Paws, flowers, there's even a drawing of a mountain landscape. Close to the bottom is a self-portrait. I can imagine Lyall sitting in front of a mirror drawing himself. I don't think I could do that. I've never been that artistically inclined. He's smiling in the portrait and looks really cute. On the table is a couple of sketchbooks, some coins and a dagger stuck into a spot where I can see he's stabbed it multiple times. I think back to people in brothels throwing their knives into the bar counter at boredom. There's also some lit candles aren't even in candle holders. Their wax spills out on the top of the dresser and dries up. I guess he's a bit of a slob. The one part that stands out the most though is a large piece of parchment. There's a map of Tigran drawn on it. It's extremely detailed right down to every village. Oh, don't read that. You made up my drawings. My handwriting is not pretty. Your handwriting is very good. Don't put yourself down. There's a bunch of red marks on different parts of the map. What are those for? I point to one of the marks. Oh, those. Those are all the places I want to go. Like the other two kingdoms and Nero's clearing. I also really want to go here. He points to a place on the map that's just above Erin. I hear this river is beautiful during the summer. I've been there before. The Lord's Bend is a beautiful river. I didn't get to see much of it though, but from what I saw, it's nice. He guides his finger down to an island off the coast of Driss. Have you ever been here? I take a closer look, but I instantly know what he's looking at. The Parched Labyrinth. No, I can't say I have. Like you, I've only been to places near or just outside of Erin. Although I've heard it's very dangerous there. Pretty sure it's an almost uninhabitable jungle. I want to go there someday. Just to see it. Maybe one day your duties will take you there. You never know. He stares at the map with a dreamy look in his eyes. Oh, I hope so. I look at the other spots he's marked, and one stands out to me. Lover's Lake. Huh? Oh, yes. I want to see that lake eventually. Because it's shaped like a heart. He looks down the ground and sits on the bed, let out a big sigh. Oh, I'm sorry for earlier. Lyall, I said you don't have to apologize. No, I do. I shouldn't have even pried. I didn't know that people would be listening. That was a conversation we should have had here. It's me who should be apologizing. I shouldn't have been so, I swear I had no idea about the stigma of interspecies relationships. Oh, I believe you. But yes, interspecies relationships are a bit taboo in Lyre. Most of the general public finds it a bit weird. In some cases it's acceptable, but a human and a wolf? Forget it. We'd be the laughing stock of the entire kingdom. Wow. I had no idea it was like that. Word of Lyre doesn't spread much outside the kingdom. It's definitely nothing like that in Erin. Oh, really? Of course. It's completely normal. Even with a large human population, people still fall in love with other species. No kidding. He falls back onto his bed and sighs. Oh, I have to get out of this kingdom. Speaking of kingdom, what about the party? Shouldn't you be doing your job there? Not that I'm not enjoying the company. His tail swishes between his legs, rubbing up against the bed sheets. I've got someone to cover for me. It's fine. Just a moment, all that can be heard is the fireplace. The crackling of the logs and the dancing of the flames. You never did answer my question. He sits up in his bed and we're now eye level. What were you hoping I would respond with? Oh. It's okay. You probably already know how I feel about you. It's painfully obvious. I feel my throat tighten as these next words come out. I don't care what anybody thinks. I only care about what you think. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're the only person I genuinely care about. I love you, Lyall. Everything about you. His eyes widen, I can feel myself getting nervous. That taste hits the back of my throat that usually happens when I'm on an adrenaline rush or when I'm scared. I would have made it through this past month without you. Damn everyone in this castle and their prejudice. My hands are fidgeting and I catch myself intertwining my fingers together. My legs are shaking and I feel like I'm about to vomit. If you don't want to be together because of what people might think, I understand. I could care less about my reputation, but I wouldn't want to damage yours. If that's the way it has to be, then... Before I know it, our lips have met and he's passionately kissing me. My heart skips a beat and I freeze up. His lips are warm and press into mine firmly. I kiss him back and soon we're lustfully embracing each other. I exhale out of my nose and wrap my arms around him. I'm now sitting on top of him as he leans back further onto the bed. His tongue slowly works its way past my lips and I succumb to his desires. There's no holding back as we explore each other. I can feel his sharp teeth on my mouth and it feels weird, but good. His slightly wet nose presses against mine. I feel a puff of hot breath on my face. We both open our eyes and pull back to take a breath. He envelops me in a tight hug and pulls me down onto the bed. His warm embrace feels too good. As I hug him back, I lose myself in his warmth. I'm grinning ear to ear and feel myself lost in passionate thoughts. The sound of his tail rapidly thumping against the bed is pure bliss. He tightens his grip and kisses me on the forehead. I love you, Ifor. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. I feel the exact same way. I roll on top of him and give him another kiss. Hello, Ifor. Hearing this, we both turn our heads toward the door and raise our brows almost in unison. Lyle's in the middle of pulling his pants up around his waist and has his belt in his mouth. We bring our voices down to a whisper. How do they know I'm in here? Maybe someone saw you heading this way. Yeah, but... Think of what Adria said earlier and it sends a shiver up my spine. Just a moment. I yell this toward the door as I put on my slacks and throw my shirt on without buttoning it. I walk towards the door and open it. It's the servant from earlier. Yes? Lord Ifor, the king wishes to see you in his chambers. Oh, right. I had completely forgotten he wanted to speak with me later. He left you in the ball to take care of some urgent business. I was sent to come and get you some time ago, but you were no longer there. I'm told you left the ball with Sir Reed following behind you. He leans in and stares at Lyall standing there shirtless. Yes, I did. There was a slight altercation, but all is well. His nose twitches and he straightens up. The king has been waiting a long time. I suggest you find him at once. I'll leave as soon as I can. Very well. I trust you can find your way. His room is right down this hall and up the stairs. I close the door slightly as I talk to them. I'll be there as soon as I can. Good. I close the door softly and lean against it. I guess I should get dressed. I'll come with you. No, it's fine. It shouldn't take long. I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Plus, I want you in that bed when I get back. We can pick up where we left off. Okay. I think I'm going to go clean up if that's okay with you. Silly, you don't need my permission. I quickly put my clothes on and head for the door. How does my hair look? It looks as great as ever, love. You sure? Of course. All right. Be back in a few minutes, hopefully. Love you. I love you too. Closing the door behind me, I turn and begin to walk down the hall. It's a very long hallway with a lot of doors that most likely lead to other royal apartments. I reach the end of the hallway into a large archway that leads to a pair of spiral stairs going up. Judging by where I think we are in the castle, I suggest this leads to one of the towers. It feels familiar somehow. A lot of things feel familiar lately. There are two guards standing at the front of the entrance to the stairs. It takes me a moment, but I realise that these are the two guards from a while back. The ones who were patrolling the hall after Lyall and I had met Kataj. The bear stands straight with a large bastard sword pointed at the floor in front of him. The eagle's leaned against the wall with a dull look on his face. I approach the entrance and pause to wait for their approval. The bear looks down at me with a crooked smile. You kept our king waiting an awfully long time, little lord. I turn and give him an incredulous look before walking forward. They aren't worth my time. Nobody is. Nobody but him. I start to ascend the staircase, and as I reach the top I realise this isn't that large of a climb. It's only about 20 or 30 steps. When I reach the top, there's a common area and a large set of double doors with the Ossian crest in the centre, surrounding the symbol of Tigran. Large bushes filled with flowers adorn the roof of this area, and a big window shines moonlight onto the flowers. Petals fall onto the ground in front of me. As I step forward, I feel the leaves crunch under my shoes. Raynar loves his plants. I reach the doors and pull one of them open. It's a lot less heavy than I thought it would be, and it swings open with ease. One of the first things I notice is a large amount of curtains and drapes. They obscure the moonlight, and I can barely see a thing. The room is more like a large hall framed with canopies of white cloth, almost completely obscuring the walls and roof, almost like the ballroom. Just like I walked into a larger version of a child's blanket fortress. I can see a canopy bed up ahead with large drapes and a small bit of light off to the right. The headboard is decorated with large antlers formed from silver. I'd say that chills run down my spine for some reason. I think I have several reasons. Why is it so dark in here, and where is he? Maybe he got tired of waiting for me and left? I'm not sure if the ball is still going on anymore, considering it's been a couple of hours. Hell, the villagers' festival ended much earlier in the day. I'd be surprised the ball didn't go too late into the night either. Everyone would have to go back to work tomorrow, so I understand them wanting to go to sleep early. I can feel myself getting slightly delirious too, and all I can think about is crawling back into Lyall's bed. I snap back to reality and realise my thoughts were trailing off again. I don't want to snoop around his room without him here, so I turn toward the doors and grab the handle. No. Something catches my eye right before I leave. This isn't right. It's a framed painting that has fallen to the floor for one of the dresses. The glass slate on the inside is broken, and pieces are scattered across the carpet. Slowly I walk up to the frame, brushing aside the ivory drapes. Feels like I'm walking through a giant spider web. I kneel down to the floor and slide a bit of the painting out from the frame. It's a portrait of the royal family. Small but extremely detailed. The Queen is sitting in an elegant chair wearing an orange and white dress. Something you would wear outdoors during the spring. On her lap is a small Adrius. He's smiling, holding his mother's hand. She's grinning down at him. I notice her eyes are a beautiful golden brown, just like her son's. Behind the two of them is Raynar, his hand on her shoulder, looking down at the two of them. His face is plastered with a large grin, which feels weird. I don't think I've ever seen him smile like that before. I take the photo and set it down on the dresser. As I turn to my left, I notice something even more disturbing. There's large rips through the canopy of the bed. The moonlight shines through them and casts small strips of light onto the neatly made bed. What happened here? I toss a few drapes aside and rush towards the window on the other side of the bed. Lightning strikes outside, illuminating and casting a bright light onto the surface of every object in the room. First, I don't believe what I'm looking at. It's like when you're trying to remember a dream from the night before and it's all blurry and distorted. No. Raynar's laying on the ground in a crumpled position. His legs are spread out and sticking out from behind the bed. That's when I notice the blood. The curtains shine with a crimson substance, and there's even a few spots where it's been smudged. The front of his body is splattered with a few strands and drops of it, and his hooves glisten with scarlet liquid. My legs become weak and I drop to my knees. My hands fall to the blood-stained floor to catch myself. No, no, no! I bring my face up to look at him, and I see his own. His eyes are wide open, his head is angled toward the window. They look as if they're staring at nothing, with tear stains streaming down his cheeks. Empty and glazed. I'm not sure if he's completely dead yet or not. The body still looks fresh. His throat has been cut to the bone, blood pooling out onto his chest and then onto the floor beneath him, creating a dark puddle. I think I can also see several stab wounds in his chest. It could also just be stains. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like blood was sprayed anywhere. I watch most of it slowly seep out of his throat in thick coagulated streams. My eyes start to water, but no tears come out. I'm too shocked by the situation. A foolish thought enters my mind: this might just be one of those nightmares. Imagine waking up in Lyall's arms as he comforts me. That's not going to happen, though. This isn't a dream. I describe it as a nightmare, but it's not one of those either. This is real. Thunder flashes outside again. I can see the reflection of it in his eyes. Who did this? There are guards outside the entrance to this tower. To my left is a dagger. The blade is dripping with blood and it stains the carpeted floor it rests on. It doesn't look like a special blade. The dagger looks like something you'd buy at your average smith. My eyes trail back up to his cold face. The reality of the situation comes down upon me like a flood. I look up and notice some of the blood has been dripping off of one of the drapes onto my coat. There's already a large stain forming. First, my body doesn't know what to do. I'm stuck kneeling there on the ground, frozen in fear. My heart is beating out of my chest and 1,000 thoughts are running through my head. Questions I so desperately wish to have answered. I try to stand up, but it takes me a moment. My head is splitting open again. I can barely think. Once I'm on my feet and dry my tears, I take a look around. I have to go and tell someone. The guards. I stumble toward the door, not looking back. There we go. Drama has happened. Who killed Raynar? Well, maybe we'll find out sometime. Probably not in the next episode, I think. But this has been a bit of a shorter video than I might normally do. One, because that was actually quite a good spot to end it. And honestly, I'm not feeling too great today, so before my headaches get too bad, I wanted to round up the video. And yes, if you have played Lyre, there's quite a chunk missing out of that one, but if you played it, you also know why I couldn't show you that one. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. If you haven't played it, well, good reason now, download it and play it. You can find out what I didn't include in the video. I'll be doing more Lyre maybe next month or December. Definitely one more episode for the end of the year. And we have either Burrows or Remember the Flowers coming up next. They're the next two in order, but I don't know which order I'm going to do them in. So it'll be Burrows next weekend, then Remember the Flowers the weekend after, or the other way around. It depends how things are going. And there will be a quick Halloween special I'll be uploading a week Monday as well. So a few things coming up before we hit November. As always, thanks to all my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. You're very much appreciated. And my top patrons are Burnt Toast, Kartek, Kopers Visser, Besuksu, Lark Huskerton, Bastian, Brian Hall, Tiger Cub, Ida Corval, Anubis Silverwind, Dissonance, Grizz, Spiderling, Kopi, Sindri Dragowolf, Marcus, Evan King, Monolay, Exact, Aaron Fox, Mohammed Al-Zamel, Andy Peng, and Kajit Cook. So special thanks to all of them as well for going above and beyond supporting the channel. Yes, that is it. I will leave you with this shot of Lyall and music. Until next time, bye for now.